So what can you do next? We're going to give you some ideas of actions you can take because CCL is all about being vocal advocates for our climate. CCL's monthly calling campaign may be the easiest, most important thing you can do. That steady and consistent flow of calls to Congress every day is important to move members of Congress to act. If you go to our website at www.cclusa.org/MCC, you can register for our monthly calling campaign. When you sign up for our monthly calling campaign, you'll be asked how you'd like to receive a reminder by text or email. Then you'll be assigned a random day of the month, so we're not all calling on the same day. And on that day, you'll get a text message or email alert, along with the phone numbers for your representative and senators and a suggested script. You don't have to use the script if you don't want to, but it's there for you if you're not sure what to say. You can personalize your message to make it more faith-based appeal to your representative if they're Catholic. Then you can make your calls and hit done, so your call will be registered with CCL. I called the other day and it took me less than 5 minutes to make 3 phone calls. Less than 5 minutes a month is all it takes. It's easy and effective. And if you don't want to talk to a live person, you can make the call after hours and leave a voicemail. The office then marks down what you're calling about and keeps a tally of issues their constituents care about. Imagine every member of Congress getting 50 or 100 phone calls a day asking them to care for creation by charging for pollution and returning the revenue back to citizens, so those who could least afford it would be protected. Congress needs to hear our voices literally. Now I'm going to turn it over to Alan Phillips, who will tell us about another exciting way for us to be heard. Alan?
In addition to the monthly calling campaign, you can also reach out to members of Congress by tweeting at them, since we know that members of Congress tend to listen to their Twitter mentions, especially when they receive a significant number of them. I'm here to talk about a campaign that we've started to focus our efforts on key members of Congress, the hashtag Catholic Climate Action Twitter Storm. Quick definition: a Twitter storm is a sudden spike in activity surrounding a certain topic on Twitter. Now typically it revolves around a hashtag and occurs over a period of hours. However, I'm working with Steve Coleman and Abigail Lane from the Catholic Action Team on a continuous Twitter storm which is loosely modeled after the monthly calling campaign. Our mission is to harness our fundamental shared language of faith to demonstrate support for a carbon fee and dividend to our fellow Catholics in Congress. Now is an opportune time to reach out to Catholics in Congress because their numbers have risen by roughly 50% since the Kennedy administration. Looking at the current Congress, nearly 1/4 of the Senate and nearly 1/3 of the House identify as Catholic. We should make the most of this representation by reminding Catholic members of Congress of Catholic social teaching, which calls us to care for creation. This brings us to our Twitter storm. By signing up to volunteer, you'll receive a weekly notification containing a list of 10 Catholic members of Congress to tweet at, as well as supporting materials including quotes from Laudato Si', example tweets, and a link to CCL's Twitter resources. This means that even if you are completely new to Twitter, we will provide you with what you need to get started, and we'll also answer any of your questions. Here is an example tweet that you might send out on any given week in the Twitter storm. Note that it's not very personalized, but also that it is almost the maximum length of a tweet that Twitter will allow you to post. That is to say that each week we would only be asking you to tweet 1 or 2 sentences to members of Congress. To give you an idea of this Twitter storm's journey, we started on March 22nd with our first team meeting and had our first sign-up email sent out on April 12th. About 1 month later, our goal was to have 100 Catholic Climate Action tweets out for the conference. However, I'm glad to say that we've actually achieved almost 300 tweets. Could we do 1,000 tweets next month?
Thank you, Alan. I'm going to talk about writing letters next. If you go to CCL's website at www.citizensclimatelobby.org, you can find a tool to write your members of Congress. Some folks may be shy about calling their members of Congress, so this is another way to send the steady and consistent message to our members of Congress that we'd like them to pass the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act into law. You can find this tool under the Take Action drop-down menu shown here with the red arrow. Then you enter your address and zip code so we know who to send the letter to. Next, you'll see a screen with your elected officials and a suggested text to send to them. Again, this text is there for you if you're not sure what to say. You can personalize your message to include faith-based messaging. Then you can hit the send button and you're done. Jose and our friends at Catholic Climate Covenant also have a tool to send a letter to Congress in support of the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act at www.catholicclimatecovenant.org. You can find that tool by clicking on the Programs drop-down menu and then click on Advocacy. Now I'm going to turn it over to Jessie Snyder to talk about her favorite thing, endorsements.
Thank you, John. Our members of Congress care about what influential people and institutions say is important. So we seek out endorsements and declarations of support for the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act. These influential people and institutions we call grass tops. We then take these shows of support to our elected officials to make it easier for them to support HR 2307. Sometimes these endorsements take a few emails to obtain. Other times it involves building relationships with people, and it may take up to a year. But you just have to keep plugging. Our Catholic Action Team has been working hard in getting endorsements, and some institutions may not be ready to endorse the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act, and that's fine. So we may seek out a more general declaration of support from them. These are just a few simple things you can do. We'll send out an email to everyone who registered with links to all these resources you can use later on. We'll also provide recordings in case you missed any of the excellent sessions we had today.
It's been a great day. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here, and have a great rest of your day.